Joey, you hypnotized, man. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, good. Sleep. Wait a minute. What can you see?
Looks like a 6-inch man on my left shoulder.
What song is he singing?
Lady in Red.
Your name, ma'am?
Patty.
Your name, sir?
Mary.
Your name is?
Mary.
Our next speaker's message about visionary thinking is so timely. Anthony Galie is a man of many talents. He is an author, a speaker, a trainer, and a psychotherapist with his own practice. And he will no doubt have you spellbound with his presentation. As a lecturer on the subconscious aspects of business, Anthony Galie has taught thousands of business people how to surpass subconscious stumbling blocks by using simple, practical, hands-on techniques to develop positive outlooks. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Anthony Galie.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be here at Edward Jones. And congratulations to you for being here. As I understand it, you folks earned your attendance at this conference, did you not? And are obviously quite focused already on client service. So I feel like I'm going to be preaching to the choir in a way, but I'd like to spend the time I have with you here this afternoon, hopefully showing you some ways in which you can improve that performance. I am a psychologist by profession. I've been doing this professionally now for 28 years, and I show people how to get and stay motivated, focused, and enthused on a target or on a goal. I've been speaking to a few of you, and apparently it's been extremely successful. You're all pumped up, excited, and motivated, correct? You've had some good breakout sessions. You've interacted with a number of users. You've learned a lot of good information that you're going to race home and implement starting Monday morning, right? I have a question. Honestly, how long do you folks think the enthusiasm and motivation that you got from this conference is really going to last? Well, see, I don't think it's hard to get motivated. I think it's hard to stay motivated. And unfortunately, most people can only stay motivated for about 48 hours. And what that means is that in the absence of any kind of reinforcement, a lot of you folks will lose the pumped up, motivated feeling you have right now if you do not do something to reinforce it. Most people lose their motivation on the way to the airport, unfortunately. Let me give you some common examples just to hammer home that point. I think an example of getting motivated but not staying motivated, perhaps the most common example of that by far would have to be the New Year's resolution. How many of you set New Year's resolutions earlier this year? Can I see by show of hands? How many of you are keeping those resolutions here? Not very many. What's the most common New Year's resolution in America? 10 pounds, right? A lot of people wake up on January 1st, they make a promise to themselves, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. And then you ask them why, and they give you a big, long list of reasons. I'll tell you why I want to lose the weight. I'll look better, feel better, wear clothes I haven't been able to wear in years. I'd be so proud of myself. They're certainly not lacking in motivation. And yet, often you go back to that same person a couple days later, and they're sitting at their desk eating a cookie or a bag of chips. And you make the comment, what about your diet? And their answer is, not today. See what's going on around here in this office? Not today. Isn't that true? So what's going to keep you motivated to implement all the great information and knowledge you got from this conference? What I'd like to do in the short period of time that I have with you this afternoon is show you a few simple hands-on techniques that you can use to get and stay focused over long periods of time, to get and stay motivated. You ask people why? Why don't you write your goals down? You see all those successful, all those driven, all those focused people? See the ones that are the top achievers? They're all writing their goals down. Why don't you do it? Most common answer is what? I'm just too busy. Too busy being an average performer to do what those high performers are doing. I just don't have the time. Second most common answer is it's boring. Writing the same goals over and over again. What's the fun in that? One guy once honestly said to me, I tried to do that once. I kept hearing it from all these speakers, so I tried it. I sat down at my desk, but when I sat down, I couldn't find a pencil, so never got around to doing it. All right, check this out. Get your goals down or a CD or a tape. It would take you about a half hour total to do this process. In other words, I strongly recommend you take the most salient points you got from this conference. You did get some very powerful information. I would make some bullet points. This was very pertinent to me. This is something I really need to do. I love this idea about integration, and I want to be a part of it. Jot it down on a piece of paper. Go get either a handheld tape recorder or take a microphone. Plug it into your computer. If it's a standard PC with Windows, it's almost automatically going to boot up Windows Media Player, and one of the questions is going to be, what do you want to do? Well, I want to make a CD. Sit there and read those bullet points over and over again. Make yourself a 5-minute long tape. Take some goals you'd really like to see yourself accomplish. Get those goals on tape. Make sure it's about 5 minutes long. Read them repeatedly if you have to. Now, start to finish, that whole process should take you about a half hour, but when you're done, you're going to have a 5-minute long tape or CD, your voice, your deadlines, your goals, the things you want to get done. Very powerful goal-setting program. I recommend you take that CD, put it in your glove compartment, and every day for the next couple of weeks, if you're driving into work or driving home again, at least once a day, just pop that thing in the CD player, and your own voice is going to start droning in the background, reminding you of what you learned here, reminding you of what the objectives are, reminding you of ways to cut costs, to integrate, to be more oriented towards your consumers and your constituency. Over and over again, droning in the background. Now, if you actually did that, heard that tape once a day, every day for 2 or 3 weeks, I'll tell you what's going to happen. At the end of 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to end up with the same net psychological effect as television commercials. A lot of people say I can't be programmed. You know, I've been to a lot of these talks, I've heard a lot of speakers, been to a lot of goal-setting sessions. I just do not think that my mind can be programmed. Well, you're wrong. Turns out the average American is routinely programmed with TV and radio commercials, and I will give you an example. This is a very old television commercial. See if you can remember it. Winston tastes good. Commercial has been off the air for over 20 years. This one's been off the air a lot longer. You'll wonder where the yellow went. When you brush your teeth with Pepsodent. Check it out. They took that commercial off the air 34 years ago. Now, for the younger people in the audience looking around saying, I don't know what this guy's talking about. Here's some of the stuff they got you with. Please don't squeeze. Fly the friendly skies of. You're in good hands with. Did any of you try to learn that stuff? I mean, did you ever sit in front of a TV set and say, today I'm going to learn the Charmin jingle? Did you want to learn it? More to the point, will you ever be able to forget it for as long as you live? That's visionary thinking too. That's self-hypnosis. Don't let the words scare you. See, it turns out the average person in this room spends about 70% of their waking day in a trance anyhow. You do. You really do. I'm just going to show you how to put it to good use. You don't think you spend 70% of your day in a trance? Let me give you some examples. How many of you people have ever driven right past your exit on a freeway? Can I see by show of hands? Now, do you think you were fully conscious when you were doing that? Be honest. By the way, you ought to measure it someday. From the ground to the top is 12 foot high. How do you miss a 12-foot high sign? I'll tell you how you do it. You get behind the wheel of a car at the end of the day, your brain is fried, it's been a long day, you start the ignition and you say, home. Then you crank up the radio or go somewhere in your mind. Pretty soon one part of you is driving the car, the other part of you is 1,000,000 miles away. How many times you pull into your driveway at the end of the day and seriously have to sit there and ask yourself, how did I get here? Which road did I just take? Was that light red when I went through it? You ever have that experience? Then you get out of your car. This is the best part. You get out of your car, you walk in your house, and there are members of your family in a trance. Like I said, I have a 15-year-old. Hi, Nick, I'm home. They do not even know you are in the room. They do not hear you come in. They have no idea. They're so totally entranced in front of that video game or that TV set, they are, for all practical intents and purposes, hypnotized. And this is my favorite example of everyday hypnosis, the daydream. I do not know the layout of all of your offices, but if you are in an office where you can look around and see other coworkers, here's a little test for you. Next time, sometime during the day you're working in the office, stop for just a minute, glance around the room and ask yourself, how many people in this office right now are fully conscious? aware of what they're doing, alert. And how many of them are in that trance that guy was talking about? Now, if you do that at any given time, you'll see at least 30% of them doing something like this. Staring out into space, not really seeing what they're looking at, not really hearing what's going on around them, a million miles away. We spend huge amounts of time in a trance, but not everyone wastes that time. Most of us do. Most of us get into that trance and it's just gone. What were you thinking about? I can't even remember. Some people, however, get into that state of mind deliberately and they use it. You'll see it. Every once in a while you walk into someone's office, maybe a financial advisor is doing it. They're locked in thought, they're totally tranced out. So you call their name and you make a noise, they snap out of it, and I was just trying to figure out, how to put this deal together for a client, how to make it more acceptable, presentable to them, or how to show them how this is going to make them money. They deliberately get themselves in that trance-like state and use it to solve problems. They are hypnotizing themselves. I do not believe it's an accident that we call the ultra-high achievers in our culture visionaries. They're all to some degree hypnotizing themselves.